But the essential point of the game is to try and collect 18 coins. And then all players are going to choose, like we said, to stay or go. And then we reveal, and then all players who choose to run, that's when, like Rick and I were saying, you determine how much coin you're going to get from this, or a die. Pretty simple.
Right.
Okay? All right, so let's give it a go.
Okay.
Ready? Reveal.
Whoa!
We pushed our luck.
All right.
You're rolling them.
You guys are dying right
Don't
here.
roll our death. Don't do it. I
can see
can't
it
watch.
now.
I can't watch.
Ah! Yeah! Woo!
My name is Tyler Heima, and here's the situation. I'm a student, I'm married, I have a dog, and I really genuinely love being with other people. This includes experiences like rock climbing, being with family, and playing board games. But I've come across a few games like Settlers of Catan, King of Tokyo, games that really opened up a new dynamic and are different from other games that I love like Scrabble and Uno. And it got me curious. What other games are out there? So I decided to go and find out. Which is the reason why I'm walking up to this house. I met a guy named Brian Lenz who invited me over to his home to play board games with his tabletop club. I looked at him kind of how like Frodo looks to Gandalf. But in this case, it's with board games.
Nice to meet you.
Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you.
So,
Rick, nice to meet you. Joel, nice to meet you, Tyler.
Jason.
Corey. Okay.
You remember, you remember one or two.
Don't worry, I don't remember most of these people's names, and I played with them for a long time.
I run a rather large gaming group that's grown exponentially since I started just a little over 4 years ago, which is West Michigan Tabletop Gamers. We're many different hats, so yes, a designer, a developer. I am a promoter of the industry. I run Grand Con Gaming Convention that's held here in Grand Rapids, Michigan once a year. For myself, it really starts and comes from being a kid growing up with a family who loved to sit and play games together. My aunts and uncles would sit me down, try and teach me as much as I could, being 3, 4, 5 years old and grasping what I could. So it really started at that point that I've had a love for games, and it was kind of embedded in me, that was a social experience. It's a great networking experience, and it's a fun challenge. I mean, gaming, whether it's on a battlefield or it's on a sports arena field or it's on a table, it's all about challenge and having fun that you want it to be, right? So, and I just see a lot of young folks to even old folks that are missing the opportunity to socialize, to build that friendship that maybe they never had or they've missed for years. You can become family as friends. And I see the group providing that opportunity for people that may miss that.
So after that, I went to the toy aisle of a grocery store in order to check out the selection of games that they had.
So what do we got? Oh, we got Operation. Another Operation. Operation. Monopoly. Star Wars Monopoly. Own It All Monopoly. Magic the Gathering. Risk.
And then it just goes downhill. So after seeing the disappointing selection at the grocery store, Brian invited me over to a gaming shop in order to meet the owner, who could explain a little bit about why we see what we do on the shelves.
We're here to check out some games. Check out and meet, what's your name, by the way?
I'm Mike.
Mike, so nice to meet you. I'm Tyler.
For the longest time, the biggest game companies really didn't pay much attention to game designers, and they pretty much stuck with Monopoly, Scrabble, the games that everybody's traditionally aware of. But in Europe, it was a different story. A lot of games designers got real popular and their games got popular, and eventually we heard about it over here in America and the games started to come over to us. And then the big companies realized that we liked that and that the games were really good. So then all of a sudden we had this explosion of games as they started to pay notice to the small game designers coming up with these really innovative ideas on these games.
And so there have been a lot of games since then, since Catan and others, that have sort of exploded on the market. A lot of them out of Europe, and a lot, certainly developed in this country as well, that follow that model of trying to provide you the opportunity to make as many decisions as possible, turn by turn by turn, and so on.
I think every gamer has some things in their back pocket they'd love to see come to fruition. Well, I think the driving factor behind getting a game published is definitely stubbornness and stick-to-itiveness. First, you have to have the seed of an idea, and you have to be willing to take that idea and realize it in the flesh, so to speak, in the cardboard, in the dice, in the cards. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Everyone has ideas. They're all nothing until you actually create something.
As far as like maybe the next step beyond gateway games, is it typically like tile setting?
No, see the role of the gateway games is to get the player to learn the different mechanics that are involved in some of these games.
Okay.
So when they jump to a heavier game, which has more rules and takes more time to play, they'll have a basic understanding of how some of the game mechanics work, so it's easier for them to learn that way.
Okay.
So if you're playing with 4 other people, let's say, you're paying attention to what they're doing because everything they do is going to affect your options for what you're going to do the following turn. As opposed to Monopoly, where you might have your turn and then you can go up and get a sandwich or something while somebody else does stuff, and that's about all you have to worry about is if they pay your rent when they land on your space or something.
Yeah.
But they don't have to start with a gateway game. They can jump right into a heavy game. If they got somebody that wants to play it and knows how to play it, they can teach a heavy game right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the beauty about this industry, the hobby. There's always someone out there who's willing and eager to teach you how to play one of these games. You may not always connect with them right away, but 9 times out of 10 you will at some point.
Our driving goal is to sit people down at the table and teach them games. It might be their first game, it might be their 100th game, but we're teaching them a brand new game. One of the best things is when you've made the explanation, you've taken them through a round or two, and the light goes on for them, and they go, oh, I get it. I understand how to play this now. And you go, okay, we'll let you go. Have fun.
And once you get more involved into the understanding of the mechanics and the rules and things like that, then you can delve deeper into more strategic and more hardcore games, because they start to make more sense to you. Like, okay, I've played this before, similar with this mechanic, and then it starts catching on.
Okay.
A game like that can then serve as sort of an opening into this whole realm of games that put you in a different position than the typical game we might have been familiar with as kids, or I was familiar with as kids, because that's what the dominant model was at this time.
So my conversation with Mike made me want to kick it up a notch. I had heard of this event called Umicon, an event where almost 20,000 game and anime fans flock to Detroit to hang out with each other and shop at visiting vendors. I can explain the experience in one word. Crazy. However, I came for a different reason. Umicon has this huge gaming library where anyone can rent out the newest games on the market and play them with people you meet. It was a lot of fun, but not necessarily my cup of tea. It's a cool place to check out new games and play with new people, especially if you don't have someone like Brian. But what I realized is that I prefer playing games at home, so I decided to take my experiences back there. After a long journey through the world of board games, I decided to invite some family and friends over to show them my new favorite game, Secret Hitler. It's a social deduction game I'd played at Brian's house one night, and it has grown to be one of the top highlights of the journey. It's nights like these when I realize why I love tabletop gaming so much. It's sitting around the table with the people I love, having fun with some board games.
Yes!
Alright.
That
was kind of like one of these things, as you guys see.
I know.
It could be a huge event like Umicon, a gaming group or gaming store, or even a small intimate setting like this. But people like me who play board games strive for one goal: having fun together at the tabletop.
No! Those two are fascists.
Hitler! Right here!
I told you guys. I told you Tyler's Hitler. I knew you were fascist.
I was a liberal.